There are just some things that you shouldn't do when you're developing a pitch deck for investors. And there's one thing that you shouldn't do that'll kill your chances of raising money. I'll get back to this later. Making matters worse, this one thing sounds like a great idea. In fact, you'll be tempted to pay a so-called expert to help you implement this. In today's video, I'll do a complete takedown of this one killer mistake slide by slide, so your pitch deck works out well. I hope you like it. What I want to talk to you about today is hiring a designer or a company like Slidebean to design your pitch deck. It will backfire on you full stop. The reason is really simple. Designers don't understand your business, so they emphasize the wrong things or change your messaging. Okay, you don't believe me, do you? Let me show you with a slide-by-slide comparison of Airbnb's original pitch deck they used to raise their initial funding of $500,000 versus the rebuild Slidebean did of the same deck. So let's go. The Airbnb deck is arguably the best deck available online, yet it was developed using simple PowerPoint text and graphics. So it's a perfect deck to see whether a designer can improve it. Let's take a look. The problems start right at the beginning. Here's the first slide from Airbnb. And here's the redone version by Slidebean. The goal of every pitch deck that you make is to make it easy for investors to absorb your message. Ask yourself, which slide does a better job? This or this? It's the original Airbnb slide by a landslide. The font is big and easy to read against a simple white background. The Slidebean team uses a smaller font against a dark picture background. What value does having a background with the words hotel have? The answer is absolutely none. Now, if you're scoring at home, it's 1-0 for the original Airbnb deck versus Slidebean. Now let's go to the solution slide. Again, we'll start with Airbnb versus this from Slidebean. Again, which one is easier to read? It's the original Airbnb deck by a large margin. We have the same problems with the Slidebean deck. Another stupid dark background of chairs and a table that adds nothing. The icons are silly too. And ask yourself this question, do the icons add any value? The answer is no. The basic rule of presentations is don't put something in your deck that doesn't add any value or takes away from your message. Slidebean fails both of these tests. And the sad thing is, these first two slides are the most important slides in any pitch deck. You win or lose with your first two slides. So Slidebean's design experts could cost you your funding. Now it's 2-0 for the Airbnb deck. Now let's move to slide 3. That versus this. This slide comparison is a great reminder that if you do choose to use a designer, you need to check their work. Full stop. There are two mistakes on the Slidebean slide. The first is they credited couchsurfing.com where they should have credited craigslist.com and vice versa. The second mistake, which is even worse, is they changed the numbers for Craigslist from 50,000 to 17,000. Now, mistakes do happen. And if you use a designer, you need to comb through your deck really carefully because you own every single mistake, not the designer. The score is now 3-0 for the original Airbnb deck. Now let's compare the market slides. The market slide, you want to show investors the vision of how big you can be over time. This is the TAM, or total available market, and what you're attacking today, or your SAM, served available market. We'll look at the Airbnb slide first, and then we'll look at the Slidebean slides. Now, I actually like the design of the Slidebean slides this time. It's clean. The Airbnb slide is clean too. Now, Airbnb did something clever by making the larger numbers bigger circles than the smaller numbers, so it makes it look like they're going after something bigger. When you look further at the Slidebean slides, there's yet another error. This time they changed the percentage of the available market from 10% listed on the Airbnb deck to 15%. I know, when you divide 84 million into 560 million, you get 15%. So maybe that's why they changed it. However, you don't want designers making numerical changes to your deck. That's for you to make. So yet again, it's in favor of the original Airbnb deck. The score is now 4-0 in favor of Airbnb. Now, if you want to get more great content like this, then hit that subscribe button right now, and you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Now we're on to the how it works slide. Now, how it works is really important because we're telling investors what our secret sauce is. The Airbnb team chose to emphasize just how simple it is to use their product. We'll look at their rendition first. Now we'll look at Slidebean's rendition. They did this in 4 slides. I hate this. I mean, I really, really hate this. You don't need this slide, this first slide that they did. It's a waste. But they wanted to do this as a 3-slide sequence. I am certain that the Slidebean guys think they are so clever by making this into 3 slides. However, here's the problem. When you're presenting a 3-slide sequence, you end up on the last slide. So while you're talking and answering questions, investors only see the book it slide, not the whole sequence. Another blunder by Slidebean. It's now 5-0 in favor of the original Airbnb deck. The next slide in the sequence is the business model. This shows investors how you make money. Now here's Airbnb's original slide. And here's the slide from Slidebean. Why? Why do Slidebeans persist in putting these ugly dark backgrounds in their deck? Why? Oh, and why did they change the numbers again? The original Airbnb deck had $2.1 billion for revenue, and Slidebean changed it to $200 million. That's just sloppy. It's still a shutout, 6-0 for Airbnb. The next slide on the list is the adoption strategy. It's really Airbnb's go-to-market strategy. Now, this is a critical slide because you're telling investors how customers will become aware of your product. Here's what Airbnb did. And here's the Slidebean version. Ask yourself a question as you look at the Slidebean slide. What is the value of the background pictures? They're just stock photos that don't add any value. Another win for Airbnb. It's now 7-0. The next slide is the competition slide. Airbnb used what's called a perceptual map. Now, I love perceptual maps. It's a simple XY graphic of you versus your competitors. We'll look at the Airbnb version first, and now we'll look at the Slidebean version. Truth be told, I don't like either the Airbnb version or the Slidebean renditions. However, Slidebean again uses that stupid dark background. Why? It adds no value. Yet again, the Slidebean team changes the order of the competitive advantages. So now the score is 8-0 in favor of Airbnb. Now, if you like today's video, then hit that like button right now. Let's move on to the next slide in the sequence. It's the team slide. The goal of this slide is to give the bios of your executive team in a simple, easy format. Now, here's the Airbnb slide, and here's the Slidebean slide. Finally, we have a slide that Slidebean actually improved upon the original. The Slidebean slide is clean with a simple white background, and the pictures are more uniform than the Airbnb slide. The score is now 8-1 in favor of Airbnb. The next slides are the press and user testimonials. The goal here is to build credibility for Airbnb. First, we'll take a look at the original Airbnb slide. Then we'll take a look at the Slidebean recreation. Did you notice what Slidebean did? They eliminated one of the testimonials from both slides. Now that's a no-no. That's why if you use a designer, you have to be vigilant because they'll change things that they shouldn't change. And again, that stupid background. It's now 9-1 in favor of Airbnb. Now we're on to the final slide, the financials. It's this versus the Slidebean version right here. Airbnb uses different sizes of the graphics to its advantage, making the investment of $500K look big. The colors make everything pop. The Slidebean slide is okay, and it gets the job done. They use a clean background, and the graphics are simple. I'll be nice and call this one a draw. That gives us a final score of 9-1 in favor of Airbnb. Slidebean does its best when they use a simple, clean, white background. In others, no design at all. And that's the point. You don't need Slidebean to create a great deck. You can do it all yourself. Now, what's funny is I like Slidebean's videos, and I like that they add value for entrepreneurs with some of their product offerings, but not designing slide decks. Now, I have one more thing for you today. I have a free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to create a great pitch deck. Now, to get your free startup pitch deck template, just click the link below today's video and it's yours. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions for me, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. If you want more great content like today's content, then just wait around for about 20 seconds or so, and there will be some links to other videos that pop up. Now, I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. I've really enjoyed speaking with you today, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.